Steam plant parts on my kitchen table. This is part 1. The postman delivers a large box. I wonder what is inside it. I do actually have a rough idea what's inside it because I'm building a steam plant for a customer in the USA, and he has sent me quite a lot of parts because he's decided that model engineering is not for him. And this steam plant that I'm building for the customer will effectively be paid for by all the parts that he's sent me. Some of the parts I already received have been okay, but most were damaged in the post. And by the looks of all this packing, I think the customer got the message. This is really well packed. In fact, it's a packaging extravaganza. I've never seen this kind of packing before. It has dovetail joints and locks together. The rest of the box has a bit more of this packing inside it and lots of bubble wrap. As well as the dovetailed plastic stuff and all this bubble wrap, I also found a kitchen roll, just as extra packing, which was nice because I needed to buy a pack of kitchen rolls anyway. I thought this was a bag of steam engine parts, but no, it was just more packing. I put all the packing back into the box and sat it on the floor. I would like to take this opportunity to apologise for the state of my wall. I'm in the middle of decorating and eventually I will get round to finishing it. It's at this stage of the unpacking procedure that you have to be careful. I always use this fairly blunt kitchen knife. It's short and very controllable, and nothing like a box cutter or Stanley knife. When you're unpacking something, when you get to this stage, you have to be careful because you definitely do not want to damage the part with the knife that you're unpacking. I used to build very high quality model steam launchers to order. When I packed these steam launchers for shipping, the main part of the boat, the hull, etc., was packed in bubble wrap inside a very large box which was reinforced internally with polystyrene sheet. I always made the steam plants very easy to remove for servicing, which was also very useful for shipping. The complete steam plant, with the base, the boiler, the engine, the condenser, with a steam pump and a hand pump and 2 radio-controlled steam regulators, were all sent in a separate package. What I used to do was hold the steam plant in the air horizontally. Then I rotated the steam plant and wound onto it quite a lot of this bubble wrap stuff. Much more than you see here. I used to buy it in industrial quantities. And I always mentioned to the customer to be very careful when unpacking these units. One of my customers, when he received the steam plant package, opened the package, laid the bubble wrap on the table and just rolled the unit to unwind it from the bubble wrap, which in turn snapped the arms off both the regulators. I replaced these just out of a gesture of goodwill. You really have to be careful when unpacking steam plants. I have in my hand what I assume to be the exhaust condenser, and surprisingly it's quite small. I put that on the table and continued with the unpacking process. Here you can see the boiler mounting, which looks a bit flimsy. You can also see a generator, and the generator is mounted on what appears to be a cast resin brick effect plinth. The railings around the edge of the board are quite substantial, but I'm still trying not to damage them. I was pleased to find that the generator did actually rotate, and now I can see everything because all the packaging is back in the box. This steam plant was originally designed to use a Stuart No. 10 engine on the left and a Stuart S50 engine on the right, and the S50 engine was yellow. This was one of 4 S50 steam engines that were sent to me by the customer, and after I'd worked on the yellow engine and got it running properly, he asked me if I'd send him it back, which I did. For the customer, rebuilding this plant I think was a bit too much. That's why he sent it to me. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. Do I want a plant this size with 2 small engines on it? I don't know. In my opinion, the best part of this plant is the base. It's very well made and very strong. This steam plant, as it says underneath, was handcrafted by Dave Connery, and there is a video of this steam plant running. Just go onto YouTube and search for Model Steam Engines by David. The plant has some very nice decorative touches. Can you see the holes drilled in the board? At first I thought, what's going on here? More about this later. When I watched the video, I noticed that the original burner was not this one. The boiler used in this plant is a PM Research boiler, but it's not right. How do I know this? The boiler arrived this morning whilst I was editing the video. It's a fire tube boiler, but it's been set up to be fired like an ordinary pot boiler with a burner underneath it, which is never going to generate much steam. This larger burner is a modification, and it's been fitted underneath where the boiler is situated. But it's still not going to generate much steam, as it is a fire tube boiler being used as a pot boiler. Not a good idea. I'll have a close look at this PM Research boiler and see what I can do with it. Here you see the general arrangement, but nothing explains this. It's a tank that at first I thought was a water tank, but when I watched the video, I noticed the water tank was elevated and sits at the side of this. The engines and this elevated water tank have not yet arrived. This entire unit is made from plastic, including the lid. You can see how the rivets have been glued in. Inside this plastic tank there is a bag of bits. Time to have a look what there is in there. I recognise the extension pipes to the drain cocks because I sent those back to the owner with the yellow S50 steam engine. I can also see a displacement lubricator and various valves. What are these strange things? They look like drains, but they're not. They have some gauze in the bottom to give that effect, but they're actually dummies, although they will hold a very small amount of oil or water. In this clip you can see where and how they fit. It's quite a nice touch really. And when they get full of oil or water, it's not too difficult to lift them off the baseboard to drain them. You can see the oil drain pipe sticking out of the brickwork. The other two dummy drains fit around the S50's base. As I mentioned earlier, this baseboard is very well made. I especially like the planking on the floor. I can't do much with this yet until the other parts arrive, so that's it for now. I'd just like to say, as I always do, stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.